All right. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to the Scaling Leads Weekly Live, where we go live every single week at 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time on Facebook. And now you're getting us on YouTube as well. So if you're catching us on Facebook, say hi live. If you're catching the replay on YouTube, make sure that you drop a hello and tell us what kind of value you got out of today. But my name is Nina Brennan. This is Jonathan Ploransky, my business partner. And every week we go live, just sharing the ins and outs of the online industry, the wins, the losses, successes, and failures that we've seen in the online space. And this week, we're going to talk a little bit about the topic of VSL funnels, which has been a huge hit from 2021 upward of 2024, and maybe a little bit of the shift that we're seeing in the market recently of what's actually making VSL funnels convert even more, being that the market has shifted tremendously over the last year. So with that being said, JP, I think we could just dive right in.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome everyone to the live. I'm tuning in here from Arizona. Nina's in Colorado. Let us know where you're coming in from. It's shaping up for spring here. I'm getting ready for it. It's nice here, but I'm also looking forward to taking some trips here and getting outside more and more as we progress through this season. So let us know how you're doing this month in February. We're moving into the final month of quarter one already. It's kind of unbelievable, right? And yeah, I love this topic, Nina. We've had massive success with clients over the years with VSL funnels. We believe they're the fastest way to get feedback for an offer to the cold market, especially, right? So we've primarily focused on Facebook ads and organic traffic with VSLs, but we're going to bring you some different frameworks and different strategies that we've deployed to really generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in the past years with VSLs. So that being said, yeah, let's hop in.
Awesome. So if you guys haven't read Saturday Inbox Insiders or Wednesday Revenue Recharge, every single Wednesday and Saturday, excuse me, we do our weekly newsletters. JP writes on Wednesday, I write on Saturday, and we release new topics that we see very crucial for email marketing systems, processes, and just getting more clients, right? So last week we put out a newsletter of how to use simple automated SMS and email workflows to increase your booked call conversion rate. I'm very excited about this topic because we talked a little bit about our 21 touchpoint marketing system of when somebody is to come in, how do you build trust in like a 2 to 4 day window before you schedule a call or before you hop on a call with them? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Just share my
Right
screen.
on. So to hop in, yeah, let's hop in. I'm
Yeah,
just trying to pull this up and I'm
I
having a
have,
hard time.
hold on one second. All right, we got it here. All right, beautiful. So if you haven't gotten, I'm on the right screen, correct? Yes, perfect.
Yep.
So if you haven't downloaded last week's newsletter, we talked and we also gave away a little bit of the templates that we use inside of our process and workflows. So if somebody books a call, typically what happens? A lot of times you book a call, it doesn't populate on your prospect's calendar. They don't get email or text message reminders. You show up to the call. Somebody on the other end who scheduled the call, what happens? They no show. It's very typical. A lot of times people have like a 10 to 20% show up rate, and it's because they didn't take the time to build the automated workflows in place that are appointment reminders and that really warm the person up of who you are, what your business does, and the outcome that they're going to get if they are to work with you. And that's really crucial in this 21 touchpoint marketing system that we've developed for the book a call workflow.
Absolutely. And just to touch on Excel strategy, because we've been talking about lead magnets, opt-in workflows, things like that, right? So this is like your next level, right? In my opinion, is your video sales letter. And reason being is you want to have a bit more feedback before trying to go into the video sales letter scripting, just based on our experience, because you really want to know the messaging and have it tightened up and sharp so you know exactly like that it's going to convert from a cold lead in particular, right? If you were to jump into a VSL too prematurely, you potentially wouldn't know your messaging enough, and then that would ultimately lead to you not having success as as early as if you had already like deployed a couple lead magnets or you're a lead magnet, closed a couple tens of thousands of dollars, gotten some clients through the door, had your opt-in sequence deployed, and you know that that's getting feedback and replies and moving people to calls automatically, right? So this is now your next step once you have that brand offer validation, and you're now ready to move more into the cold market and just generate more awareness around your core offer there.
Absolutely. And we have 4 specific workflows that we implement inside of this schedule call pipeline solely because that's what it takes to nurture people. There's going to be, if somebody books a call, there's going to be appointment reminders. If someone books a call, there's going to be case studies, testimonials, and value videos that are going to be put out. If somebody doesn't show up to a call, there's going to be a no-show pipeline. If somebody does come to a call and they don't close right away, there's going to be a proposal pipeline. If somebody does close, there's going to be an onboarding pipeline. So there's so many different ways to nurture prospects correctly through this process after they've been in your ecosystem for a little bit. And that's really what we're going to break down today.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason why we do want to break it down in four segments there, and I love that you brought that up right away, Nina, is because early on when we did our first VSL, in particular to cold traffic on Facebook, ultimately what we did is we didn't segment the process down enough, right? So we turned Facebook ads on, we spent a couple thousand, $10,000, and we didn't really get the feedback that we expected, right? And part of the problem was is that we didn't have enough flow through that process, and we didn't have a really good understanding of why the people were opting in and why they were doing a survey and why they were booking a call and why they were going to that next step to show up at the call, because we had too much friction and or a couple different variables that we'll go deeper in during this live event. But it's very important that we do have our process segmented down with these four core sequences, because without those, we're not going to get, again, it's all about feedback, right? So if we don't have these core four, it's going to be hard for us to understand what is working or not working in our cold traffic market in particular, right? So that's really the reason why we've developed this in particular four-step process in order to validate our VSL.
Yeah, and I do have the Lucid app if you want me to pull it up, JP, as we do walk through it. But I just want to preface it here that a lot of times when I go through funnels and we do audits, we'll see a good funnel. And when I say a good funnel, it's like the structuring of the funnel is in place. So people have the opt-in, they have the survey before book a call or after book a call, they have a calendar, and they have a thank you page with a thank you video telling people to show up. But the thing is we're talking about the workflows behind each of these pages. So if somebody comes in and they opt in, but they don't fill out the survey, there should be an opt-in sequence. If they fill out a survey, but they don't book a call, there should be an abandoned cart sequence. If they schedule a call, there should be a sequence there. And these are all little things that are going to increase your conversion rate from page 1 of the funnel to page 2 of the funnel, page 3 of the funnel, to getting to the incentive of actually getting somebody on the call. So we'll start here at step 2, JP. We could talk a little bit about the follow-up sequence of if somebody watches a VSL, what happens after that?
Absolutely. So this is a person that generally we optimize first for an opt-in page, like we've went over in previous modules, right? And now once they've given you their information, their email, their text, and their name, they're going to now go into the VSL part of your funnel, right? And that's going to be watching what we recommend, a 6 to 10 minute video, right? We can go for longer, like 10 or 20 minutes, but we usually like to keep it short, concise, and just very really direct, so that it just really provokes action right away to take that next step, which is to fill out the survey and then book a call. So with that being said, really what we track on the VSL level is how far into the video are they getting, right? Are they getting to minute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Like how far across that VSL are they getting? Is there a big drop off? And then that can help us find out like different ways to structure our VSL and or like figure out why are they dropping off at minute 2. And we do have a whole template based on VSLs and everything, and we share that inside of the School of Social Selling and inside of our inner circle programs and stuff like that. And we'd be happy to share some templates and stuff like that. So if you are working on VSL or have you're curious about the situation, we'll be happy to share that. Just drop a template below and we'll send it over.
Absolutely. So we can go all day about the structuring of a VSL. It's actually inside of this document. So if you do want this document, drop hashtag document and we'll send it over to you. Of like between the 4 and 10 minutes that you're writing the video, it's what is supposed to be where, how you're supposed to structure it, etc. It's broken down inside this document, so you can get all of that. But let's talk a little bit about this right here, the follow-up sequence where most people ignore. And this is very crucial inside of the, getting people to show up to the call, getting people to buy into your product or service. Most people aren't going to buy immediately, and that's totally okay. We're firm believers, as it says here, money is in the follow-up. So if somebody opts in, but they didn't watch the VSL, or they watch the VSL and they haven't yet booked a call, or they booked a call if that's your CTA, we want to make sure that they're going to be nurtured to do the exact step that we want them to do. So in this case, it's like if they opt in, our whole incentive is for them to go to the next step to watch the VSL video. So make sure that you're doing that opt-in sequence to push them towards the VSL video that you want them to watch. As you were saying before, is you're selling that next step, right? So let's talk a little bit about when somebody does book a call, the first thing that triggers, JP.
Yeah, so now they've watched your VSL, they've submitted their survey information, and now they've been given the next step, which is to book their call. Once they book their call, then now they're going to be removed from those other sequences because now they've taken a deeper funnel action, right? And now they're going to be put into a confirmation sequence. So think of this part of your funnel as just a new level that's deeper, and now they're past the like unaware level and now they're in awareness, right? So now you're going to want to position 48, 24, and 1 hour reminders leading into the call. And these are value video driven based videos for objection handling and also case studies just to give more proof of concept to build that like, know, and trust. And as we always speak about, the average consumer takes 21 touch points to buy, and on average, about 7 hours worth of content, right? Google's done major studies behind this, and they've actually, we've preached this, for so long is really, you just need to stay in front of your leads and inform them about the things you're doing and showing them different value training on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or in your community to really bring the awareness level up. So it's not so much you selling them on the phone. It's more of them like, yes, I understand what you're doing, and I just want into what you're doing because I understand it already.
Absolutely. So here's the graphic of everything that we're talking about for anyone who is watching this video that's more of a visual person, right? So we're starting here as if somebody books a call. This is the first sequence that goes out here is the confirmation text. So the text is just going to be very simple where it's like, hey, please confirm your call. So how you could set it up inside of Conversion Pro, our white label version of Go High Level, is you want to make sure that if somebody books a call, there was a problem with this recently. If somebody booked a call through their calendar, and then they asked me when the call was because it didn't populate their calendar or ours, but I put it on my calendar and invited them. So it was like they were a little bit confused because they booked a call on their calendar, but it didn't populate their right calendar, nor did it populate mine. But with our calendar, what happens is it automatically invites not only us and puts it on our calendar, but also on somebody else's calendar. And it also triggers a text asking them to confirm their call. So as you saw in the other document that we'll put back up is please confirm your call. Because if you get a confirmation of somebody saying yes, it's reaffirming to them and to you of like, please don't waste your time. Please don't waste ours. You could either reschedule, you can cancel. There's so many options to not waste your time. So that's going to be this first text here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we could do an entire live on just the call schedule pipeline itself. I don't know how deep we want to get here, but yeah, absolutely. Confirmation is like a huge, huge component. And, we've executed this in different ways. We've done, right away confirmations. We've done right before the confirmations. We have, deployed setters in the process to make sure that people are being, they're getting to the call and things like this. So it is super important to get the confirmation, especially in that confirmation workflow.
Yeah. So the first text that we send out is a confirmation. If they don't say yes, it's going to send them another text message. If they do say yes, what you're going to follow here is 48 hours before the call, which is going to be a simple appointment reminder. 24 hours before the call, they're going to get a reminder and an email and SMS just what to expect from the call. You're going to point them towards the email of, did you send them a case study? Did you send them a value video, etc.? And then 1 hour before the call, you're just going to send them an SMS reminder with the link to either Zoom or the number that you're going to be calling them from. Now let's talk a little bit about the pre-call nurture sequence that we have in place, JP. And we're talking about the value videos, the testimonials, and the trust that we're really building in this 2 to 4 day window.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's super important that we showcase like what we're doing, how we're doing it differently, how our brand is positioned, building the like, know, and trust, and showcasing past results and quick tips to really just showcase our expertise, right? Especially in the market we live in today, where people need to trust you to understand what you're doing before making that ultimate buying decision. And really, again, we focus on really handling a lot of the objections in our content and on top of funnel and inside of our email marketing process before people book a call. So it is still important at this level to be doing all those things, but the more we do that in our marketing process before these folks even get to this area of the funnel, the better we're going to be. So it's more of not a sales call, it's more of like an invitation to join, and the people are just they're more inclined to like just take action and really move forward with your program rather than you convincing them to take action, right? So 100% quick tips and wins and case studies are super crucial at this point.
Yeah, I loved how you brought that up, JP. Just as a reminder that there has been a huge shift from the 2021 to 2024 where VSLs were the top tier. Like you want a high ticket sale between like $2,000, $10,000, run an ad, do a VSL funnel, and then get them on a call and do a hard sell, which is typically that sales framework that every single marketer out there teaches, right? But the shift that you're talking about here and that we brought up and we continuously, it's low ticket, freebies, a lot of value prior to getting somebody on the call. So it's really just a conversation of what the offer is and if it's right for the prospect on the other end. And realistically, what this funnel does is if you do have a high ticket offer of $5,000, $10,000, it pre-qualifies or disqualifies. So you don't want to waste your time trying to convince somebody on the phone if they don't have the money or if they don't have the time to invest in the program. So all of these case studies and the success stories and the wins and the value videos that you're putting out is really just pre-framing the expectation of what you're going to be talking about on the phone and having people either buy in or buy out prior based on like what you're sharing. And I love how you brought that up. It's like it's more of like a robust nurturing sequence now through your email marketing processes, your the deeper your opt-in goes, etc. So you're not wasting time or high pressure sales selling somebody into something that they don't want or need or at this point can't afford.
Absolutely, yeah. And like think of it this way, like real life example, right? Um, and then this is how it used to operate and work for us. I mean, we go to marketing events, we host these live events, we post every single day on social media, right? And our content does a great job to create awareness around what we're doing. And at live events, we meet a lot of people, we gather their information, and then they get put into our follow-up sequences, right? And then they get hit with our emails for potentially months or weeks, depending on which type of person it is, right? Because everyone's a little different in a different part of their life. Maybe they're having a child, or you don't know where people are, right? And then ultimately, what happens is they do get the opportunity to book a call one day, and then they book a call, and then really we just want to bring them up to speed on like the actual offer and the actual stuff that's been going on in the community most recently and like the real case studies because for me and for us, Nina, like we don't usually come off like super like aggressive, right? When we're at like networking events or in the DMs and stuff like that, we use like more of a pull marketing effect, right? So this is where it is super important to really to lean on those case studies and value videos and the way your plan works, right? Just to really bring it front of mind and remember bring like the conversation that you had maybe months ago front of mind again and like why they are booking the call, right? So yeah, that's just the way I like to think about it because before we had this, right, we had a lot of awareness, especially on TikTok, right? It was amazing. But we had people dropping off of the inside of the call schedule pipeline, or they would watch our VSL and then they didn't really have follow up correctly after the things and actions that they were taking, right? So for me, I just wanted to kind of like broaden the vision and like bring in real life situations because we were victims of this for a while and we definitely saw our revenue kind of more unpredictable. And then it started to get better and people started to to our calls more aware of the things we were doing and speaking to us and selling us into our program rather than us having to do that hard pro marketer sale like you mentioned there.
Yeah. And I just want to highlight here what we are talking about. And I think that you just triggered like a beautiful thought in my head. It's this is only one piece of the equation. So the call schedule pipeline or appointment scheduling pipeline that you're seeing here is really just like one piece of like the many funnels that are in place to nurture people through email marketing to get them to know, like, and trust you. A lot of people talk about social media content and posting on social media and being, on every single platform and TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, etc., and always being omni-channel. But this is a way to be omnipresent with your offer, your value, and building that trust. It's getting people into your opt-in sequence that we talked about, I think 2 weeks ago, JP, of like 35 days of just like really nurturing them with content and freebies and social media aspects that, we put out there every single day. It's inviting them to our newsletter where every single week they're reading Revenue Recharge or Saturday Inbox Insiders. Then they come in and they're like, oh, there's an offer that's going to be valuable. I already got value from their $5 offer, their $27 offer, their $99 community. Now it's time to take the step. And that's this piece of the funnel here. It's not just like, here's one funnel that's going to crank out 50 clients. It's you're moving people through this ecosystem. And after they're moving through the ecosystem, this is their chance to work with you now that they know you, now that they understand what you do, now that they understand the why behind everything that you're doing. Great. They book a call. And it's so easy to turn them into a client because they know what you do.
Mm.
You have the case studies behind what you do. And then that's what the market is. People are looking for trust. There's so many people out there with offers, and this is how you build that trust.
Absolutely love that. Yeah. And just another thing that came front of mind, we were talking about the cold traffic funnel on the front end of the call, right? And how important it is to get your message and your offer super razor sharp before kind of pushing into your VSL. Because on the other end of that, when your message is super razor sharp and you understand and you can communicate exactly what you do very clearly, very simply, we've seen people convert to multiple, $15,000 sales in less than 24 hours, right? Because they come in, they see the problem that we were able to fix for them. We do hop on a call and we understand like where to meet them and how to talk to them and how to get the understanding of like when it is a perfect fit, right? And then we can close the deal because we positioned all this amazing content and we have a really clear understanding of the message and communication that it's going to take in order to make that deal and make that connection when it is like a perfect fit. You know what I mean? Like think about like when you meet your soulmate or something, right? Like you almost instantly know like this person is like meant for me, right? So that's like the other end of it is like it can be a very quick sales process as well when this is like honed in and razor sharp.
Absolutely. And I don't want to get too off topic. If you guys want to learn a little bit about making sure your offers are locked in both in order to sell high ticket from $2,000 to $10,000, we have trainings on that. Just drop hashtag offers and we'll send it over to you. But let's move forward and talk a little bit about I believe the no-show workflow that's next.
Yeah, so as exactly as stated there, this is kind of moving away from VSL conversation, but if you do have folks that don't ultimately show up for your call, again, it's a very similar process, but you ultimately just want to change the way you're communicating a bit and being like, hey, like, not sure why. Maybe you had some type of emergency that came up, but we're still interested in, learning more about what you do and how you do it. And then we do want to position, follow-ups as it indicates there. We want to immediately or 1 hour after missing the call, we want to send a message and just offer a reschedule link the next day, 3 days, and 7 days. Generally speaking, though, if we do have a no-show, that generally indicates that they're just not a good fit for what we have to offer. People just aren't action takers sometimes, and that's just the brutal reality of the situation. But we do want to give them that initial 7 day follow-up just to see like, was it some type of problem, personal problem that they just couldn't make it, or maybe they thought something differently, or we just want to make it super clear and why that happened really is really the purpose behind the no-show. Because again, like people, if they're not action takers, I hate to say it, but there's no really reason to like chase them down because they're not going to be action takers in your program either.
Yeah. Typically, they land in that 50% of people not to bother with. And we always talk about the 5-45-50 rule. We really want to focus on that 45%. Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about people that come to the call. They know who you are. You're talking to them, but they're not ready to take action because the offer is not, like you said before, they're having a baby, or the guy that I spoke to today, he's in the process of moving and he wants to get started in about a month from now, right? So people who did show up, it did not close. This is how you build instant rapport post call. It's if you have a call with somebody, immediately send them the proposal of everything that you talked about. That should be automated inside of this workflow, but also sending a thank you message, like an SMS that's very personable and, thanks for everything today. Like, really excited to work together in the future. Looking forward to our call on XYZ date. If you do have somebody who didn't close, make sure to get a call on the calendar. We typically say no more than 4 to 7 days out. But if somebody does have like a conflict of like they're having a child, they're moving, they're ending a program in about a month from now, totally fine to get that on the calendar, just so a reminder of you, some follow up in between. If they didn't buy, it's always, as I said, get a second call on the calendar. But something that we like to do on that is after they get their follow-up sequence, they get put into a re-engagement sequence, which has case studies and testimonials and more value videos that's more higher level and mid to bottom of funnel rather than top of funnel awareness to deeply nurture these people of like, again, what they're going to get if they are to join that specific program.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just went over the amazing workflow for a VSL funnel, right? For pretty much from start to close, the opt-in phase, kind of like what to look for and how to structure your VSL, the mindset to go into it with, right? Because we were a little bit narrow-minded when we first started doing this stuff, and when we started to spread out our time horizons and like really break the funnel down and segment it down and really understand and like what was actually happening inside of that is when we really started to have success. Then we talked about like the schedule call pipeline. We could go super deep into that if y'all want. Just drop a schedule call and we'll take that feedback and I'm sure we'll have that coming your way in the coming weeks anyway. We talked about that and how important it is to really position those deeper funnel, you know, those deeper funnel metrics and assets, I should say, like value videos, testimonials, in order to make them super aware before they get on the call. So it turns more into like a conversation where it's like an invite rather than you selling them on the phone. And then we just went over the did not close and the proposal as well. So one thing that I just kind of want to bring to the forefront here, Nina, is like we've went over a lot of the metrics behind this stuff, right? Like we went over the opt-in flows and a lot of amazing mechanisms, right? But I think what's important, and I'd love the feedback for those of you who are watching, like, do you want to see like how the storytelling comes around and like the deeper psychological like tactics that we use in order to move these folks through, like how to write case studies and stuff like that, or like what is it that y'all want to see? Because we're always open to the feedback on these live calls, and we love to make them interactive as well. So always drop any comments below. Let us know what you'd like to see. I know there's some people on here, and we always appreciate y'all watching.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that we're going to do in the coming weeks is really just release an overarching view of the entire ecosystem of what happens after somebody gives us their phone number and their email. I think it would be really great for our audience to see the robust system that we've built over the last 3, 4 years, JP, of the low ticket, the freebies, the high ticket, the newsletter, and how we move people through the ecosystem based on their awareness of who we are as Scaling Lean, but not only the awareness, but their buyer pocket of what they're ready for inside of our ecosystem. Because that's really how you build a long-term business. And that's how you go with the ebbs and flow of the market of it used to be just like direct response, get somebody on the phone and close. But as the market has shifted, people are looking for trust. People are scared to pull out their credit card right away. People still do. I just want to clarify that. People will come in, they close in a 24-hour period for a high ticket. But the reality is you get men on the phone a lot with, I've been in a program like this before. What makes you different? That's what the ecosystem does. It really just showcases who you are, why your brand is different, what the outcome is, and specifics of like why your brand is unique and how you can help your clients. And once you have that ecosystem in place, it's so easy to sell high ticket products and services because that trust and that authority is there. And that's what we're really looking to help you guys build.
Absolutely, Nina. So with that being said, I think we can wrap this one up. Definitely want to congratulate, give a shout out to some newer clients inside the School of Social Selling Inner Circle programs. Jesse Simpson, Humberto. I might have a hard time pronouncing his last name, Nina. Haley Evans, Jeffrey Lyon. So shout out to y'all if you're watching this. Appreciate you, and we look forward to bringing some of your success stories to coming live events in the coming weeks. Got a pretty awesome. We're going to be rolling out a pretty cool giveaway here shortly for y'all. Nina and I are going to be talking about it after this live. So always giving back to our community, always growing it. We're working towards a live event in the fall in Scottsdale. So yeah, Nina, let's take it out with any other updates you have on your end.
Yeah, no, that's really it. We do have a four-part course that we just released. If you guys are looking to maximize your email marketing and really learn the system behind it, we have 4 pieces of the course. It's going to break down our 35-day opt-in sequence, how to build a lead magnet to pull people into your ecosystem, how to extract calls from your calendar, and landing page optimization to make sure that people are converting at 27 to 55%, which is the average that we see here with our clients. So if you do want access to that, just let us know, drop a hashtag course below and we'll send it over to you. But with that being said, we have a long live for you today. So thank you guys for tuning in for those who stayed the entire time. And we will see you next week at 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time.